Hey everyone, welcome to New Comic Book Day Book Club, the best Wednesday show that I'm on with John. And 2 weeks in a row, what? Jeffrey Comic-Con Henson, what's up, buddy?
Hey, good to see you guys.
What
I don't
a
know how
treat.
I pulled. Yeah, thanks. I don't know how I pulled this one off, but I'm happy to be here.
No, we decided to talk about Hulk, and who else are we going to talk about Hulk with? But
Well, I appreciate it.
yeah, we are talking about. We're going to talk about a couple books tonight. The first one being the Immortal Hulk King in Black one shot. Before we dive into that, let's run down the chat real quick. We had PJ King in here way early tailgating. Thank you very much. This Jamoke. Todd Christian, what's up? No Good Comics. Hello. Backseat Driver, always a pleasure to see you. And that's everyone we got at the moment, but great crew in the chat so far.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us. So, King in Black, Immortal Hulk. You know, a lot of times I feel like these kind of one-shot tie-ins, they really feel like kind of a cash grab, right? Because it's like you don't, regardless of our thoughts of the issue or whatever, you don't need to read this to read King in Black. I don't think you're really missing anything.
Have you guys read? I'm getting every tie-in, and I've read every tie-in, and none of them are necessary. And in my honest opinion, this week with Black Cat and the Symbiote Spider-Man were the first two real tie-in stories that actually had something going on with the King in Black story besides just one of the symbiote dragons appearing on the last page.
Yeah, I think it's like almost like reverse. It's like you don't need to read this to read King in Black, but if you're reading Immortal Hulk, it's more interesting because it kind of gives you an insight as to what the character you're reading, how it's affecting them more so than how that character is affecting the story.
That's very well said. I haven't looked at it like that, but I think that's actually almost exactly right with every tie-in that I've read so far.
Well,
so.
Thanks.
Well, and I do feel like that's, for me, the kind of tie-ins that I like are the ones where it'll add depth if you want to read it because it includes the characters you like and you can get a little more out of the story if you want it, but you don't need it if you don't want to spend the money. You don't. So for me, it's a tricky needle to thread, but when somebody does it well, I think it's a lot more fun.
So having said that, you know, if it's a character you like and a writer or artist that you like, I'd say more likely you should pick it up than if it's something that if you're like just reading King in Black and want to read the whole story, just, you know, don't kill your wallet by buying a bunch of these books that are tie-ins when they're not really tie-ins.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So that's my criticism of the event and of Marvel. But let's talk about the actual book.
Hello to TJ and Andy.
Yeah. Hello, gentlemen. Nice to have you.
Yes.
Oh, there's TJ. Thanks for joining. So this is written by Al Ewing, who, as we know, writes the main Immortal Hulk series, which is great because then it actually maybe has some impact on the character, as someone at least knows how to write the character. And art by Aaron Cooter, which was just a delight as far as I'm concerned.
I was just going to say 2 thumbs up for me.
Kachung, welcome, buddy.
Yay, Kachung. Real quick, I just say this. I don't think there's like, as far as continuity into the Immortal Hulk series, I don't think it's got much, at least from not any of the more recent issues, but it is the same Hulk that you get from the Immortal Hulk. So
I was going to ask you, because I know you've been consistently reading Immortal Hulk. I stopped at 25. I don't know where Alex stopped, but you were reading
a while back, yeah.
So, like, can you give us an idea of where he is right now and what's been going? I mean, I don't need the whole thing, but like whatever just is like the more recent storyline, whatever's going on.
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, so like issue 40 of the Immortal Hulk, he's like trapped in his mind by the leader, and you got all the personalities jumbled up in one mix, and none of them like know what's going on. The leader's trying to whack them all off, but the one Hulk that we get left with was the one they referred to as the baby Hulk. Which, I mean, I don't know everything about the Hulk, but that was the first time I'd heard of like a baby Hulk, but that's where this issue of Immortal Hulk picks up, is with that baby Hulk being the present Hulk. And I'm pretty sure that that's the Hulk that we get in this Immortal Hulk story.
Yeah, and you told us that right before we went live, and that made it make a lot more sense to me. Not that I was like lost or feeling like it was nonsense, but saying that kind of sheds some clarity on his behaviors.
Yes.
And for those of you who didn't read this, it's actually a silent issue. So there's no dialogue or narration or anything. It's just purely visual storytelling.
And it's also a Christmas sort of.
It is also a Christmas story
where you get a little bit of this childlike Hulk exploring the city, and despite complete chaos around him, is kind of enamored with certain storefronts and shopping and these kinds of things.
Yeah, so it starts off by saying "'Twas the night before Christmas," and I'm pretty sure those are the only words in the whole book. And then we see this kind of like snowy, nullified, which this is the only thing that I was like, how does this make sense? Because you see like the first panel of the city is all like the signposts and stuff. It's all like got Venom stuff all over it. This dude's just like coming home with his Christmas shopping.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing going on.
And he drops a package, and he reaches to pick it up, and then the Hulk is there, and he gets scared and runs down an alley. And the Hulk is like super excited about.
I love that face.
Great drawing.
I tell you, he does a good job with it being a silent story at telling it with just the art.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of emotion and character in the faces that the artist used. So then there's a symbiote that comes out of the alley, attacks the Hulk. The Hulk fights him off.
Well, if you notice too, the symbiote that pops out of the alley's got a dude's jacket.
Yeah, so he probably ate him.
Thompson, right?
And Hulk electrocutes it eventually. Zap. Yeah. And then he's like, "Oh, my head!" And he's like, "Oh, wait, the present. That's right." And I think it's a hairdryer.
That's what I thought. That's what I got from.
Which he's very unimpressed by.
Yeah, it is a hairdryer, and yeah, he is disappointed.
The cops show up, and he tries to warn them that there is another symbiote underneath their car. They shoot at him. He gets mad and runs away. And then the symbiote gets the cops. He ends up at this outside of this department store, again, very excited, and sees
an erector set.
Yeah, kind of like an erector set.
Which is, if you know, that's a direct like Easter egg from the Incredible Hulk stories. His dad gave him an erector set for Christmas when he was 3 years old, and then he put it all together, and his dad like flipped out because he was like, "Oh, he's not supposed to be smart enough to put that together himself. How do you do it?"
Yeah. So we do see that flashback of his dad getting upset and hitting his mom and hitting him, which makes Hulk angry, and he busts up the set in the window, and then we get this crazy ass transformation scene. Which hold on, let me make myself big because this.
So, like, one thing that they've done, like with the Immortal Hulk, apart from like previous Incredible Hulk series and things like that, is when he transforms from Bruce Banner to the Hulk, it looks like this just painful, like mutilating process. As to where before in the previous comics, he's like, "Ah!" and all of a sudden he's the Hulk. Like,
yeah,
they definitely put some more like crazy stuff.
Pretty darn gnarly, and I dug it. So he ends up being Bruce Banner again. The nullified cops show up, and he is just Bruce Banner. So he tries to run away into the department store. He cuts his foot, and the null thing starts following a trail of blood. And he ends up putting on bunny slippers to stop his tracks, and which confuses the null thing. And then he blasts them with audio. He turns up the speakers really loud and like annihilates them. So they have a couple of other weaknesses besides fire and electricity.
Do you notice on his phone when he's gonna? Oh, you're gonna show it right now.
What's that?
When he's going to press play on the audio, it says Keown, like Del Keown.
Oh yeah.
One of the he was a writer on the whole series for a
while. And then he like very calmly and like very serial killer like just walks up to it with a lighter and finishes it off.
Hairspray or something.
And then he leaves the store and then ends up at the toy section as the Hulk again, just loving life because he's Baby Hulk, apparently.
So
that was the whole story. I mean, it's like it really didn't need dialogue.
Not at all.
Just one thing that I forgot. This is not the typical Bruce Banner. This is the Joe Fixit personality.
Yeah, TJ said that too. He's not actually Bruce.
Oh, okay.
He's actually the mind of Mr. Fixit.
Gotcha.
Because he's got the like sweet stash going and the trucker stash.
I mean, it's funny because it was, first of all, it's $5, but it was definitely enjoyable. Like I really liked it, but I mean, I don't know. I can't really say because I was going to say for the amount of time it took me to read it, $5 seemed a little steep, but I can go back and look at some of that art again a number of times and it was good enough.
And I agree. And I think it was just like you said, if you're a fan of the Immortal Hulk, if you like the series, there's something probably incredible. If you're an Incredible Hulk fan, you're going to find something in here for you. If you're just looking for like King and Black tie-ins or like, obviously, if you're looking for a good read, you might pass on this one,
No Good Comic says it just went too fast for $5. Yeah. But like, it's funny because it was a lot of pages and like I said, for me, the art was top notch. So like, I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 on whether or not it was worth buying. Having said that, what did you guys rate it at? And then we can kind of dig into some of the more details if you want to.
I mean, I would rate it very high. I thought it was great entertainment. And like you're saying, the artwork's really, really, really solid. The story was really entertaining and fun. So, I mean, just as a pure entertaining read, I would rate it quite high. I'd say 8.5. I mean, it was just a lot of fun. I didn't have a lot of qualms with it. I mean, I might rate it higher, but obviously the drawbacks are there's not a lot that goes on, and it's expensive. So,
Jeffrey,
my initial thought was like 7.5. Like, so I'll just go with 7.5. I enjoyed it. I really liked it. It was fun. It's super fun. For the amount of time, like I didn't look at the price when I bought it. So like I would have bought it if it was $8.99. To be honest with you, it wouldn't have mattered to me. I was gonna pick it up. For me, it was fun and it was enjoying. I had a good time with it,
Yeah, I'm around kind of both you guys. I'd say I'm with John. I'd rate it a little higher just because. TJ says it's the perfect book for Perry.
Burn.
Yeah, I mean, like looking at it just as on its own merits, not counting the cost or whatever, I'd say it was about an 8.5 for me. Like I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun reading it, and I thought it was really well done. So it's just like it's so inconsequential and it's so goofy that like I can't say that it was like something needs to be kind of. Has to give me more than that to give me like a 9+. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, no, go ahead, Jeffrey.
I was just gonna say I think that's why I can't rate it any higher than a 7.5 because I feel like that's pretty high for a book that doesn't have any like actual like dialect in it. Because I feel like if it would have had dialect in it, it would have probably been like if I give it an 8.5 and then you say. Give me this story with words, I obviously have to rank it higher, I feel like, which I don't think it was close to perfect. but it just in my head, the way that I process things, like it's a 7.5 solid book. If it would have had some like real dialect in it, I could see it being an 8.5 or something like that.
It's funny you should say that because of the way the story is, I almost feel like it would feel dragged out if there was dialogue, like because clearly it didn't need it because it still told the story. So
you're right, and that's another thought that I had is very possible too. But my first thought off the top of my head, I 7.5 fun, enjoyable read, and
Yeah.
I have no arguments with you at 8.5 either.
And for me, like I almost feel like if it had dialogue, I'd probably be mad at it for not just taking the risk. I like the risk, and I think the payoff was really strong. And so for me, that was a big factor in my enjoyment. And I loved the ballsiness of like a horror event comic Christmas issue. Like I think all of that is really funny to me, and I think they managed to handle all the different genres really effectively.
Just as an art piece, I think it's worth the price.
I guess she says, remember the Squirrel Girl silent issue? I do. I don't remember that one, but I was going to bring up, obviously, the G.I. Joe silent issue, which is very famous. And there was a great Garth Ennis Punisher silent issue.
This is my first.
The chat has been listing a bunch. Earlier, PJ King said, do you guys remember the Nuff Said books that were all silent? Marvel did them in 2002, apparently. They're just for the art. And Kachung says he didn't remember them. And he has about 15 of them. So apparently there were a bunch.
Yeah, maybe that was what that Punisher was part of, because I feel like it was probably around that time when it came out.
Hello, Vincent McLean, the comic machine.
I remember talking to David Mazzucchelli about it. No big deal. Little name drop there. It's like the one name I can drop. Give me a break.
Hey,
PJ Watson said, last page gave me the feels. Yeah, it was definitely a great payoff.
I thought so.
Hello to Sans, Tangled Web, and Gore Vidal.
But, I mean, writing a good silent issue is not the easiest thing to do. I mean, writing a good comic is clearly not the easiest thing to do based on if you ever watched this show before. Because we dump on a lot of stuff. But writing a thing that is literally half words, obviously it's a very visual medium, but typically because you don't have any emotion in it, you use the dialogue to kind of help you carry the story. So it's definitely more of a challenge to write something that is, or it's a unique challenge. I'll say that. I won't say it's more of a challenge, but it's a unique challenge to write something that is dialogue free.
You have to be on point with the art, and
and it definitely is. But for me, like this is up there with other silent issues of doing a great job at it. I don't know if it's Snake Eyes classic, but I think that was made more classic because of the character and this, when it came out and all that. So
yeah, I have not seen. This is my first silent issue, so I honestly.
Yeah, Gore Vidal says you can wait to buy them in a lot on eBay 6 months from now for cheap. He's talking about the tie-ins.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, who knows nowadays? One of these tie-ins might have some stupid first appearance that's going to be a $50 book. But, like, if you didn't want to buy it the day it came out, you don't really want it that badly. So don't worry about it. Or read them all on Marvel Unlimited later. But yeah, I mean, solid, fun read. It's kind of like hard to talk too much about it because it was just, hey, aggressively relaxing. Yeah, we're still kind of talking about it, but we breezed through it a bit because it is a quick read, so it's a quick recap. And the art chemist just joined in. What's up? How you doing, buddy? So, you guys have any other thoughts on this one?
Not me. I mean, I feel like we covered a lot of the stuff, and I do think like it's just a fun Christmas Immortal Hulk. Like I think almost the King in Black stuff for me is all second to the little Christmas story.
Yeah. Right. Like you could have taken out the symbiote and put any other random character hunting him, and it would have been the same. Like there
Could have just
wasn't.
been those two cops, even still, you know, like
Yeah, except hopefully he wouldn't have slaughtered the two cops the way he killed the symbiote. But
that symbiote was pretty crazy looking though. If you look back on it, it's like
two-headed.
yeah, two-headed, two spines. You see both the spines going down the back of it and everything.
I mean, it was cool the way they used that situation to tell the story, but like it had nothing to do or did not rely on the fact that the King in Black is happening. They could have told the story even if the event wasn't going on, I guess is my point.
The only thing that makes this a King in Black tie-in is the fact that symbiote is in this book. If the symbiote was not in this book.
And also, Null's on the cover, he's not even in the book. So
yeah.
So let's move. You want to move on to the next book we're talking about this week?
Yes, sir.
We're talking about Solid Blood number 17 that came out this week from Image Comics. I'm sure everyone probably already knows about this book. If you haven't, though, I'll give you a little backstory as far as I understand it. It was an unsolicited book from Robert Kirkman that people who or shops that order firepower got the same number that they normally get firepower of. But it, what's up, Houdet? Little zinger for John.
I see you there. I see you, man.
So it was an unannounced series, and basically what it is conceptually is an alternate universe book that has crossed into our universe, that where Robert Kirkman is not successful, basically. Because if you read the notes in the back, he's like, oh, this book is selling pretty well, and we might actually get to issue 25, which will be the first time in my career that that's happened. So it, I don't want to even say breaking of the fourth wall, because it's like more than that. It's like it's such a weird conceptual thing that, like, in comic book universes we deal with alternate dimensions and different worlds all the time. It's not like a thing. But to take that and like actually bring it into the real world where like it actually is happening was kind of a bold choice.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't Robert Kirkman, who basically owns Image now, there's no way this idea would have gotten greenlit. I can't imagine.
It is an odd idea, and in the style of the book, before we get into like the content of it, I guess, but the style of the book is legit 90s. I mean, the fonts, the art style.
It looks like an Image book from the.
It is a full Image 90s Youngblood-esque kind of thing, and even the paper quality looks like that old school recycled paper.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a newsprint. No Good Comics says, why does it start on issue 17? So it didn't start on issue 17. This series has been going on for 17 issues in this alternate universe, and this issue just happened to slip into our reality, is basically what it is. So it is as if there are 16 issues before this in another reality that we just didn't get to see.
Does anybody got a theory on that? Because I have one.
Go ahead.
I don't think there is a beginning before this yet. I think this is just like a conceptual idea that he had.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The conceptual idea is that there were 16 other issues.
And they will come one of these days. But
yeah, he'll probably. Yeah, I got issue says I'm sure Image now will release issues 1 to 16. They'll probably release it in like a collection or who knows.
Or down the road after he's done writing this series and this series over with, he decides to go back and rewrite the origin story or something but yeah.
So I'm going to bring up my first qualm with this book is the price. It was $4. And like John said, it's printed on newsprint and it felt very flimsy.
Right.
And like, I just said $5 was a lot for the Immortal Hulk. This was like, I found it offensive that Image would charge $4 for this book.
See, the $4 here didn't bother me as much because I felt like I was reading an Image #1, and I mean, I think the paper quality was a gimmick, and I dug the second I opened it, it was like a nostalgia kick for me. So none of it bugged me.
I love the paper quality too, and I thought like the art looked really great on it.
Yeah,
the colors were just like that right amount of faded that looked. I don't know, like it looked great. For me, this book was hot toilet water, though. And I know Jeffrey said before we started that you enjoyed it, so I'd like to hear.
I thought it was okay, but I didn't think it was bad. As a read, it was cool. Like, I mean, I wouldn't put it on my pull list. I had fun with it. It's kind of a cool little battle scene, when the sword's like repiecing itself together, constructing itself with bones. That little fight scene, it was decent. The interaction was cool, but like you don't really know any of the characters. Like right now, you don't really relate to any of the characters, so there's not a whole lot to draw you into it. Other than that, I thought the action fight scene was pretty sweet, but I would read the next issue if it had another issue that was coming out. I don't know what the deal with this book is. If there's another issue, if there is another issue, I'll pick it up and check it out.
John?
Yeah, so I mean, for me, it was a total '90s nostalgia kick, including some bad writing tropes that like just were for me almost like wonderfully tongue in cheek, like the way they were written in. I will say Ryan Otley is an endlessly talented guy, and the art looks cool. I love the character designs. The bad guy splash page. This is, or I guess technically it's a spread page, but it's like half a spread page. I love it.
What's his name? Necromonger.
I love how they even do the like old school, like he gets his own font when they say his name. Like,
and there's a little cameo of Michonne on the panel right before that.
Is there where let me see
that. Right there.
Getting killed.
Yeah. With her samurai sword. So that was like, maybe I'm just an idiot, but like I didn't get the book until the end.
I'm still not really sure that
I understand he's writing it as if it were in issue 17, but even still, like there are 3 distinct like situations going on that visually and like the way they feel are completely different. So I thought they were 3 separate stories, but they are all in the same world, but they look nothing alike. Because the first story, you have this little girl and this guy who are in jail, and it seems like very techy. He's got like these fake legs, and they're in this like really high-tech looking jail cell. Then it cuts to that guy, which looks very medieval, and then there are people in space.
Yeah, which is the guys on the cover here, these 2.
But then they all come together at the end, and they're all actually in the same situation.
Yeah.
I guess it says you'd understand if you read 1 through 16 like I did. And
that's kind of the thing that you have to go into when you're reading this book is you kind of have to think that you're probably going to be reading a little out of context, right? It's going to feel that way. And for me, it definitely kind of did like feel a little out of context, but I was still able to get, I guess, like enough out of it to where I could wrap my head around it at the end after you figure everything. Well, not figure it out, but kind of understand it.
It's funny. What's up, Perry? What's up, Bearded Comic Bro? Thanks for joining in. It's funny because I had very distinctly different thoughts over the first couple of pages. So when it started, the way she starts the issue is like, oh, I have these powers and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, why are you writing this like it's a first issue? That's stupid. Like introducing us so like dramatically to these characters. But then like it shifted very quickly to, oh, I have no idea what's happening because you are expecting us to understand the first 16 episodes. So like it was neither here nor there. Like I feel like there was a very good like I said, I was super excited about the concept. I thought it was kind of interesting and different, but he could have written it in a way that felt like a middle of a story issue while still bringing you along for the ride better.
I agree that, and I think that was the challenge, and it's not an easy challenge. And I would say I'd probably give this book about a 7.5. I felt like it came close enough. It was not a home run or anything like that, but I felt like between the quality of the art style and the nostalgia kick of it, I just was really digging what they were doing. I don't know that I loved any of the characters or really fully grasped the depth of much of the story because it is quite fractured and jumps all around. But it was enough that I want to read another one.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Like the characters that they introduce, you start off with, right? The Tony Stark looking dude and the little girl.
Yeah.
They don't really play too much importance, like as far as they're kind of in the middle, and then
until her bloody nose becomes sentient and starts doing.
They're kind of in the beginning, and then it takes place to the battle scene with the chick and with her sword and all this stuff. And then it kind of comes back to them at the end. That's with the blood wraith, right? Blood wraith, wraith. I don't know how you say it, something like that. And it's kind of cool. But then they kind of try to put that twist at the end of it.
Right,
so
the twist at the end is that the guy she is with is an imposter.
Right. So there's two of them. And she's with one at the present time. And then at the other time, there's one that's being locked up somewhere. But he's like got red eyes, so there's something going on with it.
I got what you said. They should have charged like $1.50 for it, or at least like one of those really weird '90s prices, like $2.75.
That would have been great. $2.79.
That is hilarious. Yeah.
I mean, I'd give this like a 3, and that's for the art. Like, I really disliked it. I mean, like, I challenge either one of you. Tell me what this book is about.
I can't.
No way. I can't. I mean, it's a jumbled storyline because you have 3 different plots going on at the same time. I don't know that I read it twice. I don't know that I fully grasp all that's going on. I just was interested enough. The character design, the universe layout, the look of it. I want a little bit more. And if the second issue is just as all over the place, then I might feel like, yeah, maybe they don't know what they're doing here.
I would forgive it more if I found it enjoyable, but it wasn't even like, besides the part where she like harnesses the bones to make a sword, that was cool. Like there were these cool little moments, but they didn't like have any impact or like worth to them because there was nothing behind them for me.
Which for me made it more of a 90s book where it was all flash and not a lot of substance. And I liked that they tried to walk that line. I wish they had walked it enough where they could still leave a resonance as far as the strength of the emotions for the characters. That's where it's weak. And I'm hoping issue 2 can push back the other way just a little bit. Because if they can add just a little bit of that, I think I'm in for more than just a single issue.
Here's a bold statement I'm going to make. This just felt like a Robert Kirkman book to me. Like, I feel like this is what he writes anyway.
Oh, ouch.
It was Robert Kirkman writing a 90s book, but it wasn't like, this felt like any issue of Invincible or Walking Dead or like any of the, like, it's just like weird bullshit, terrible dialogue, and then a terrible, stupid twist at the end of the issue.
Wow. PJ King's comment is for you then. Yeah.
Kirkman is overrated in Walking Dead. It was interesting at first, but when Kirkman didn't know what to do after 40 issues, the best thing he wrote was Invincible. Yeah, I would agree that the best thing he's done is Invincible on his self-published stuff.
I'm a big Oblivion Song fan, personally. I thought I'm only 2 trades in on that, but I thought they were great.
Yeah, you wrote that. I feel like
issues. I haven't read them yet, but I honestly don't think I've ever read a Kirkman book before this.
I do agree. Walking Dead for me was way overrated, and I got tired of that really quick.
I feel like he is a pretty good plotter. Like he comes up with interesting plot points and good storylines, but he's terrible at dialogue. Like you read some Walking Deads and they just read like this.
Yeah.
So having said all that, yeah, I don't know. It's just like it.
I kind of feel the same way. Issues is saying that he thinks it could be just like a one and done kind of gimmick thing, and I could see that too, like for sure. Just like COVID, let's ruse everybody, let's be a troll kind of thing. Let's just release this random ass book, issue number 17.
He's the George Lucas of comic dialogue, according to Alec. Yeah, don't get me started on George Lucas. But like that is a good analogy because I feel like a lot of, well, I won't get into that. I'll save that for another video. Yeah, it's just like, who cares? Like it was a funny gimmick, and I just feel like it could have been pulled off so much better than it was.
I agree with that. Did Ryan Otley do the work for the interior too on this?
Yeah. Yeah, it looks great. It's a lot of fun. And I'm sure Ryan Otley had a blast drawing this.
Yeah.
He got to draw a lot of like big monsters and weird things and just like go ham on it. But
totally got that early Image feel, definitely. And
but I will also say the thing that was, and this is no fault of Image or Robert Kirkman, but on Monday or Tuesday, I guess, this book was selling for $40 on eBay. And today it went down to 20, and I'm sure by tomorrow it'll be down to 10 because my shop and Jeffrey's shop both had them on the shelves. I went in at 6 o'clock today, still had copies on the shelf.
So, yeah, no, I go in on my lunch. I went in yesterday and was talking to him, and I was like, if you get a copy, can you hold one for me? He's like, yeah, for sure. I walk in today, it's like 1 o'clock. I'm on my lunch break trying to sneak away to make sure I can get some, extra books that I was hoping I could get. But anyways, I walk in and he's like, oh, I got that book for you. I was like, sweet. And he's like, he goes, I got here this morning and there was a line all the way out the door around the parking lot. He goes, I figured it was people trying to get this book, And he goes, not a single one of them bought it. He goes, you're the first person to pick it up. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, he had the whole stack of them still. So, I grabbed 2 copies, one to give away and one to keep. But
yeah. So my point is that, like, don't be a fool. Like, if you buy a book before it even comes out, like, you're not even going to try to go to your LCS and buy it? Or, like, check Midtown? I don't even, it's probably still available on Midtown for the heck. Like, $40? This like, spec has gotten absolutely out of control. And
crazy.
Like, they might have been fake sales with people trying to drive up the price. I don't know, but even if they were, some of them were real. Like, someone bought this book for $40.
It's that, what do they call that? That FOMO, man. People get on that FOMO and they start having anxiety attacks or something. I don't know. Like,
yeah, well,
before the book even comes out, like,
yeah,
take the chance. Like, if you're willing to pay $40 for this book on eBay, you should at least be willing to wait till the day it comes out to try to take the chance to get it for cover price. If you can't get it for cover price at your LCS and you really want it that bad, then maybe you go pay $40.
Yeah, because no book is going to be like $100, $200 the night it comes out. It's just not. I mean, I say that, but Jesus, the way the market's going, it might be.
Yeah. Daredevil 25.
Like, worst case scenario, you spend $40 Wednesday night. So
I mean, I don't know. I sat down and I read every book that I bought today already. And you know what? Like, if this book is worth 50 cents in a couple weeks, it doesn't really matter to me because I had a lot of fun sitting here today reading them all. And for the price that I paid for every single book, even the ones that I didn't like, I'm okay with it. $3.99 for a couple of minute read that maybe I didn't enjoy. I'm not going to be disappointed when I put it down. You know, like
Yeah,
this.
I
This
feel the
is a
same
great
way. Like if you buy a book and you read it and you get some enjoyment out of it, you pay $4 for it, and it's not worth anything later, who cares? Because you paid to read it and enjoy it, and you got your money's worth out of it. If it turns out to be a $20 book, great, you quadrupled your money. Who cares? Like, it's $20, and like, I don't make a ton of money, but like, people are freaking out over Daredevil, and it's a $25 book. It's like, that's 25. Like, that's, people don't go to the movies anymore, but that's how much it costs to go to a movie.
But
Like,
they're
you
freaking out. What are
probably
they
spend
freaking
more
out
on
about?
Starbucks each week than you do buying the book.
Okay, I didn't read the book. I didn't get the book, but from what I understand, it's just Elektra with a different outfit on. Why does that make a book $35 more than the cover
I mean,
price?
it doesn't, because she's going to be back to Elektra in like 3 issues, I'm sure. But it's that FOMO again. People are like, "Oh, this is going to be the next huge thing," and like, it's not going to be like, it's like Star Wars books right now. They're like anything with a first appearance in Star Wars is all of a sudden like there's that Heir of the Empire book, which is like $300 now. 3 weeks ago, that was a $40 book. And it had been a $20 to $40 book for years. And now, all of a sudden, because Thrawn was mentioned in The Mandalorian, it's a $300. That is stupidity. Star Wars books have been around for 25 years, 30 years, if you count the Marvel stuff.
I got the first one.
Chaos says, I've got Solid Blood issue 16 for sale. Who wants it?
Reach into the alternate dimension. Anyway, that's my rant to spec. Don't spend too much for a book. Don't buy Star Wars books unless you find them in dollar bins or regular $4 bins, whatever. Don't spend this money.
I buy Star Wars books, but that's just me.
I mean, listen, if you're into Star Wars, that's great. I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars comics. I don't buy a ton of Star Wars comics, but like, don't just get suckered into the hype.
Yeah. Like, really, like, I mean,
because if you didn't care about them 2 months ago, you only care about them now because they're hot. And same thing for Daredevil 25. That series has been great from all accounts for 24 issues. Now all of a sudden you care about it because it's a spec book.
Yeah, right. Like that's your. I mean, you should have known. Like it's a good series. You try and get it, right? Like, I don't know. I understand. Like, we talked about this with like variant, like second printing stuff. Like, okay, you got a job, you work, you can't make it down there. You know, like, is it your fault for not having it on your pull list, or is it not? Like, it's hard to say. Hey, man, it's your fault. You didn't have this book on your pull list, even though you've been picking it up every week. I don't know. It's hard. But I mean, if you're reading the book and you're on it for like 2, 3, 4 issues, like you should, and you're enjoying it, like it's something that you should try. Maybe, like, I know some people maybe can't, they don't have an LCS, but there's internet, like things like that.
KS and Comics says Star Wars comics are the best part of Star Wars. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd go that far, but like, there are people who like the prequels. Star Wars comics are better than the prequels, so if you want good Star Wars stories, yeah. I don't know. That's all I got for tonight.
And if you missed it,
I was just enjoying the soapbox. Like, I was just like, let's just sit back and listen.
That's my channel. I figured I could go on a rant.
Do it. You do it on my channel too. I don't care.
Nola's coming. I was watching you guys.
I apologize.
Okay, it was quality. Quality time.
I don't think we've ever been called that before.
It's always a first.
They're not.
They are a genius because they gave him his job for life, basically, those prequels.
I don't know who Filoni
is. He's the creator of the Clone Wars TV series, and he runs basically all of the television shows that Star Wars is doing now, so like Mandalorian and stuff.
It looks like it should be called Filoni, and if it's Filoni, and you know that anybody whose name rhymes with baloney is somebody.
I'll say this about the prequels: if you take them and dissect them in a very particular way, they're clever. But you have to read in a lot to the movies and take out a lot from the movies to say that they're good and take that stance on them. I'll do videos on them. I don't care. I'll tell you how garbage they are. No, I won't. Never mind, because I don't have to watch them again to actually get my points across. I'm not going to put myself through that.
I just don't know enough about Star Wars to comment on it either way. I was introduced to the first 3 episodes when I was a kid with my parents. I thought they were great. When the new three movies came out, whatever, 4, 5, 6, or 1, 2, 3, I should say, right? When 1, 2, 3 came out, I saw them in the theaters as like a 12-year-old kid. That was pretty cool. A lot of action. You're in a big theater. It's kind of cool. But I've never watched them ever since then. So,
false. K2SO is the best modern Star Wars character. And PJ King says the prequels are better than 7, 8, and 9. I would wholeheartedly disagree. I was not a huge fan of 7, 8, and 9, but at least they're entertaining. For me, like, I will tell you all the reasons why the prequels are bad all day long, but for me, the most offensive thing is that they're boring.
The 1, 2, 3s?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3s, they're boring. And that, like, it's a Star Wars movie. It's a movie about war in space with lightsabers and droids and spaceships. And they're boring because you talk about trade wars and Senate hearings and garbage.
Oh my god! I love it.
I remember like they pick up a little kid in one of them, and then like at the very last scene, like of one of them, like they're making one dude into Darth Vader. That's like the beginning scene of the first one and like the ending scene of the last one. I think that's like all I remember.
Yeah, except reading Captain Marvel took 10 minutes out of my life. Rewatching Star Wars is like 8 hours of my life. I can't.
And the memes are forever.
I'm already middle aged. I can't throw my time away so willy nilly.
Ooh, glitter and duct tape. There you go. Look at you.
I mean, that's fine. Like if you don't like Star Wars, I'm not gonna hate on you for that. Like they're not for everybody. I know, but Jesus Christ.
I love it. I'm just entertained. I feel like Star Wars is I think the memes are so great because they're starting to point out the fact that Star Wars has like Star Wars fans are ruining Star Wars. Like everybody hates something. There's nobody that likes all of it. Like even the people that love all of it are like, yeah, but I don't like this part. I don't like it's always like a firebrand. I think it's hilarious.
It's kind of like Batman. Like Batman was just like Batman and the Joker, and all they're doing is shoving the Joker down your throat. Now, like Star Wars is just kind of shoving itself down your throat a little bit, right? I remember when the first I was a little kid, and my dad rented the Star Wars movies, and we watched them over a weekend. And he's like sitting there telling me like how when he first saw them, it was like crazy. It was such an event. You know what I mean? To go see these Star Wars movies, it was like a huge deal. And now it's just like, hey, here's another Star Wars movie. Here's another Star Wars. You get a Star Wars movie too. You know, like, and I think with everything, when you know you get so much of it, what's that word? You become like tone deaf. Oh yeah, like I don't know, sensory overload to the point where it's just another Star Wars movie. It's just another Star Wars movie. And I mean, I'm maybe not, but like as a kind of like an outsider looking in on the subject, that's kind of how I feel. You know, it's like, oh, another Star Wars.
Gore knows what's up.
I liked Glitter saying Star Trek is better. There you go, girl.
Yeah, for me, like I don't know, it's apples and oranges for me. Yes, they're both sci-fi stories, but they're like so vastly different that I have trouble comparing them. I love Star Trek too, although
Battlestar Galactica beats all.
Battlestar Galactica does beat Star Trek by a mile. But I also was going to say, for me, and I know this is another hot take, it goes Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Original Series, Voyager.
See, I've never watched Voyager, and I've seen parts of Deep Space Nine, so I can't really speak. But I would be willing to say, if you're just watching the series for enjoyment, that, yeah, the Next Generation is a far more entertaining watch. Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, all of the characters in the prequels are just garbage. They have no personality. They offer nothing. Like Jar Jar is the most personality-filled character. Qui-Gon Jinn is ever
been on book club. Period.
Qui-Gon Jinn is like whiter than white bread. He is like graham crackers, he takes away any sexual tension and sexual interest in anything. You know why that? Do you know that's why graham crackers were invented? They're supposed to be like anti-sex things.
Yes, I do now.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's dropping knowledge. He's getting all fired up. I love it.
Queen Amidala, flatter than Natalie Portman's chest.
Queen Amidala isn't Natalie Portman?
Yeah, she is. That's why I said that.
Oh, okay. I said, man, I really didn't know what's
But
going on.
I was making a joke based on her personality and her. She's very attractive, by the way. I'm not taking anything away
Over
from her.
my head. Sorry. Gotcha.
But like all the characters, they're nothing. They offer nothing. Anyway, I'm done.
Oh,
I'm
hilarious.
all for you.
Welcome
man.
to Star Wars talk.
Yeah, welcome to me ragging on Star Wars. Yeah, I mean, for sure. I'm not, whatever. Not taking anything away. So oysters on graham crackers cancel each other out. Yeah, it's like yin and yang.
Yeah, you put the Hershey's chocolate on, and then you put the oysters on top of that.
Yeah, so it's s'mores.
That's an interesting s'mores. Yeah. What do you guys going on in your channels coming up?
I don't know. Nothing. Did you get a package in the mail from me today, John? No.
I did not. Was I supposed to?
Well, I don't know. It's
All right.
maybe
keep
tomorrow.
I'll keep an eye out. I'm pretty busy now through Monday. So I got tomorrow. I got my edited video dropping the pull list, and then I'm on JP's channel. We're talking Fables volumes 6 and 7. Is that what it is? Yeah, 6 and 7. Homelands and Arabian Nights on JP's channel. So we'll be doing those trades. On Friday, I'm on Hero and the Kid again for their Friday night show. I'm filling in for Fire Guy Ryan. Saturday, got Drinks and Movies, and Kachung has got a special show I'm hoping to jump in on and hang for a bit. And then Sunday is not D&D. No, what is Sunday? Crap, there's something Sunday. Oh, maybe it's I've got something going on Sunday. And then Monday is Kamagory's holiday special. First time ever on my channel.
Yeah, very exciting. So sub him up. Go check out Comic Wars, the one of the most fun game shows on Comic YouTube. What you got going on, Jeffrey?
Oh, not much, really. This is about it. Me and Rod are kind of taking like a little vacation till the new year. So
holiday break.
Yeah. So other than that, I'm just chilling. Reading. Always read your comic books. Definitely get more enjoyment out of them. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, totally agree. No D&D this Sunday, and then on the 27th we'll be back with the holiday special D&D edition that I am trying to write, and we'll see how it goes. Should be fun. And then
I see you, bearded comic bro. I see you.
We're also going to take book club off next week, I believe. We were just saying, but then we'll be back with our picks of the year special that we do at the end of each year.
I call it the year-end spectacular.
Yeah, year-end spectacular on the, what is that? That'd be the 29th, 30th?
29th, 30th, yeah, something like that.
I think it's the 30th.
There you go.
So yeah, I'm not going to probably be around much. Who knows? Maybe I'll do like a random stream and yell about Star Wars. So.
Yeah.
Check that off the bucket list.
But so in the meantime, everyone enjoy your holiday. If I don't see you or speak to you, I'm sure I'll speak to you guys and probably a number of people in the chat. If you want to message me on IG, I'll probably say hi back. I'm usually pretty good about responding. I also really, and I talked to John about this, want to play the Battlestar Galactica board game. And there is a way to do it online. So if anyone's interested in that, we don't have to stream it. We can just do it over Zoom or something. Yell about Star Wars, that would be new for YouTube. That's funny stuff. So in the meantime, Fire Guy Ryan's on board.
Yep.
We need like at least 5. Kachun. Need at least 5 people to do it. So if you haven't played it before, it is stressful and tests friendships.
If you're watching this weekend, this Saturday, Kachun will be having an end of the year live stream. He's got some mystery boxes he's selling right now. They'll be doing raffles, some giveaways. But if you're not doing anything, I believe it's this Saturday, 4:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on his YouTube channel.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, check out Kachung's Instagram. He posted a thing today about the mystery boxes they're doing. Pretty cool. They're like a lot cheaper than a lot of other mystery boxes you see around, and it looks like there's some pretty fun stuff in there. So, yeah. Spoiler alert. Yeah, if you haven't watched the show, you can certainly play, but there will be spoilers. Yeah, I know they're bringing Battlestar back. I don't want to talk about that. It's like, why? There's certain things that you don't need to remake. That's already been done perfectly. Karate Kid, perfect. They tried to redo that. Garbage fire. Princess Bride, never touch that, please. Perfect. Jaws is the reason why they've never remade Jaws. Perfect film. Battlestar Galactica reboot, perfect. Don't mess with it. Anyway, I'm Thanatosing this goodbye. Stay safe. Have a great holiday. And never turn your back on the ocean. Okay, goodbye.